Okay, in these examples, they are very similar to the ones we did previously, but there's one change. We're going to have a look at that. So once again, what we're trying to do, we're trying to find an unknown side length. So as we did before, we label our sides. We've got our angle, so we've got our adjacent side, we've got our hypotenuse, and we've got our opposite side. And then we look at the ones we've got information for. We don't have anything for the adjacent, but we do for the opposite and the hypotenuse. So because of that, we are using sine. So we're going to say sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. And let's substitute our values. So sine of 42 equals opposite, which is 9 over our hypotenuse of x. So what happened last time was we had the number at the bottom and we had the x at the top. They've swapped it on us. So to be able to solve this, what we're doing is we're going to multiply both sides by x and then divide both sides by sine of 42. So in effect, what we're doing is our next step, we can say that x equals 9 over sine of 42. And that's what we end up with there. So we can type that into a calculator. 9 divided by sine 42. Close that off. And it tells us that it is 13.45. And that makes sense because it is 13.45 for the hypotenuse is longer than 9. So I'm okay with that. Alright, let's have a look at the next one. We have got our opposite side length, we've got a hypotenuse, and we've got an adjacent side length. The two that have information for them, adjacent and hypotenuse, so it's going to be cos. So we're going to have cos of theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So say cos of 39 equals adjacent, which is 45 over x. And once again, we're in the same situation we were in before, so we just swap over. Like before, we swap to the sine, cos, the sine. With the x, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to swap the cos with the x. So we're going to have x, x equals 45 over cos 39. So once again, I'll work that out. 45 divided by cos of 39. Oops. And we end up with 57. And 57.9. But that's what we take for that one. Okay, we've got one more to do. Wonder if you can guess what this one's going to be like. I'm changing colours. So we've got our sides, there's our hypotenuse, here is our opposite side length, and here is our adjacent. The two we've got information for are O and A, so we're using tan. So tan of theta equals opposite over adjacent, 6 that equals O. So we could say tan of 44 equals 15 over x, and just like before, where we swapped, we're going to swap. So it's become x is going to equal 15 over tan 44. That's what we're doing there. So we're saying 15 divided by tan 44. And it tells us that ends up being 15.3. 15.53, and that's all that we have to do for that. So just like the previous ones, we label the three sides of the triangle, whichever of the two we have information for. That determines whether we use sine, cos or tan. Substitute our values. If our thing that we're solving for is at the bottom, then we swap it, and then we just solve away.